What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you're now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you see a Patreon account. If you click it, you can become a member. All you got to do is try recommend movies, music, trailers for me to react to. So click the link. Don't forget to subscribe. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. So today I'm going to be doing kind of like a character breakdown, character analysis of different horror characters, right? So, but today I'm gonna do it one by one. And what I want to do is I want to make this kind of like a segment on my channel. So if you guys have recommendations for characters that you think that you want me to break down, go ahead and drop it in the comment section down below, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna get to them, right? And I'll shout you out too. Now, today we're gonna focus on the grabber from the movie The Black Phone, right? Now, you guys are in for a treat because check this out. Not only am I going to do a character analysis for him in the movie, but I'm also going to be telling you a little bit about the character from the book. So you guys get twice as good, you know? So check it out. The grabber. In the movie, the grabber, physically, he looks like he's just a kind of a tall, frail man, dressed in all black attire with a top hat, some real goofy looking glasses. Obviously, he's wearing like some white kind of clayish makeup in order to kind of conceal his identity a bit. And this is what he wears when he's going around trying to find the kids potential victims, right? This is what he wears. He kind of reminds me of Johnny Depp and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Hey, little boy, don't push my button.
Say I'm not lying, right? Um, this is the attire that he wears, I guess, when he's going out trying to attract different possible victims. Now, in the book, mind you, he's a little bit different. Like I said, in the movie, he's kind of tall, skinny, frail, has the long hair, about neck, shoulder length, kind of grayish brown. He's kind of a slender man. Now, in the book, he's a complete opposite. He's like some kind of like a big, fat dude with a bald head, rocking a Hawaiian shirt, right? So these are completely two different character designs that they decided to go with, right? And I think the idea is because in the movie, like I've said, if you're watching this character breakdown, I'm assuming that you've watched the movie already, because why would you be watching a character breakdown of a character that you're not familiar with? But warning, I guess, in case you haven't seen the movie, maybe you should leave. But I guess this works out because in the movie, when the grabber's character runs and chases down Finn, he wouldn't be able to do that if he was big and fat, you know what I mean? So that kind of right there kind of solves that issue right there. Also, the grabber's main thing is that he wears a mask. He's always in masks throughout most of this movie, right? Throughout the movie, he has three different masks. He has a mask with a smiley face. He has a mask with a kind of like a stoic mad face, and he has a mask with no mouthpiece. Now, there also are times in the movie where he would just wears the top part of the mask, and there's times where he just wears the bottom part of the mask and he has his eyes open. And I'm going to explain why I believe that he does that. It's not done on purpose. I think it's just done because he's just trying to conceal his identity. All right, so let's go ahead and break down the mask, right? So the first mask, the one with the smiley face, he's a little bit more eccentric. He's a little bit nice, and he really personifies whatever mask that he's wearing, whatever mouth, because the mouthpiece on the mask is swaps out. This part stays the same, but the mouth part swaps out, and it allows him to have different personalities for his inner killer, I guess, right? So when he has a smiley face, he's really nice. That's when he's giving Finn the soda pop, and that's when he's giving him the breakfast, and that's when he's being really kind to him and being really sincere. I'm not going to hurt you, that type of thing, right? But then when he's trying to get Finn to play the game and come upstairs and it's a trap, this is when he puts on the stoic, angry face. When he's sitting in the living room with no shirt on, just sitting there right there, waiting for Finn to come up the staircase so he can play the game, right? He's waiting for Finn to mess up so he can have a reason to kill him. Most likely, most of the killings happen with that stoic face on. Now, there's another mask where he doesn't have a mouth at all. And honestly, I don't really remember what that mask really didn't stand out to me, the personality wise. It just seemed like he didn't really know. He didn't want to say much. He didn't really want to give away too much. That one just kind of seemed like he was a little tight-lipped, maybe, So that's the vibe I'm getting. There was no clear-cut personality when he was wearing that mask, like it was with the stoic one, and like it was with the smiley face one. But this is the vibes that I'm getting now. When we're comparing that with the book, um, the grabber doesn't wear a mask in the book. He's just some dude, right? He's just some bald guy who grabbed a kid, right? That's what he does. Um, he just when he grabs him, he's in a Hawaiian shirt and some pants, and then later on when he comes to visit Finn, he's just wearing like a dirty tank top and some drawers. Like that's what he does. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the grabber and his choice of victims. Now, the grabber's choice of victims in both the book and in the movie, they seem to be young boys, right? He is a child murderer, and he prefers, it seems like he prefers to kidnap young boys. Now, in both the movie and in the book, it is kind of not, it's not said outward, but it's kind of like insinuated that the grabber is possibly a child rapist or a molester, right? Now, in the book, it makes it a little bit more obvious because the same scene happens in the movie and the book, right? Where he says, like, don't touch me. If you do, I'll scream. And he's like, if I wanted to do anything to you, I would have done it already because I watched you sleep, right? And there's also another scene where Finn wakes up and he's like petting his hair or whatever. So he gives off a lot of creepy vibes. Now in the book is a little bit more obvious because he knows Finn's name, right? He says Finn's name in the book, and Finn's like, how the fuck does this dude know my name? But when he's describing the way that he's saying his name, he says it in such a way where it's like, it's a word I'm looking for. Like there's some sort of interest, like there's some sort of desire, like there's some sort of like it's making him feel some type of way, if you know what I mean, right? Um, it's a little bit more obvious or a little bit more hinted at in the book that there's some sort of sexual deviantness with the grabber's character, right? They hint at it in the movie and they hint at it in the book, but it's not outwardly said. But based off of what I've seen and what I've read, I think I can make a fair argument that the grabber is in fact a child molester and rapist. It seems like we're going on the vibes of like John Wayne Gacy. If anything, I think John Wayne Gacy possibly is a reference point to this character, but that's neither here nor there. Um, the amount of kills, right? So in the movie, I believe that the grabber kills 5 kids prior to grabbing Finn, right? So Finn was supposed to be number 6. In the book, the grabber kills 4 kids, and Finn is number 5, right? So he has less of a kill count in the book than he does in the movie. The movie has a bigger kill count. Now, the weapon of choice isn't quite as clear, but we do know that in both the book and the movie, the grabber uses some sort of canister. Now, in the book, they're very specific about it, and they say that he uses wasp spray, like a spray that kills wasp, and he sprays it inside Finn's mouth, right? That's what he does in the book. It's very clear. It tells you what it is. In the movie, I wasn't 100% sure what it was that he sprayed in his mouth. He sprayed some sort of liquid. And for a minute, I thought it was black spray paint, but I didn't know what it was, right? So clearly he does use a canister of some sort of spraying material, whether it's wasp killing spray or whatever. He uses that in order to get his victims. That's something that's done in both the book and the movie. Also, he does use an axe in the book and the movie for the final kill, right? So his brother finds Finn in both scenarios, and he gets an axe in the back of the head. That happens in both stories, right? So an axe is the clear cut, weapon of choice in the ending of this book. So those are 2 weapons that are for sure. Now, in the movie, he has a really big knife that when he chases Finn down and grabs him and holds him, he pulls a knife out and puts it to his throat and then takes him back to the house. So he does use a knife as a weapon in the movie, right? But here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about. Both in the book and in the movie, they're not very descriptive of how the grabber disposed of or killed the previous kids. So we don't really know his methods of murder, right? So like just like Jason has a machete, Michael Myers has his kitchen knife, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Leatherface has his chainsaw, and then sometimes he uses the little hammer. These are clear weapons that horror movie characters use, but there's not really any like weapon of choice for the grabber, right? Now, call sign. In both the book and in the movie, the grabber's call sign is he releases black balloons. I believe in the book, though, he releases balloons according to the amount of children that he's kidnapped, right? So when he kidnaps Finn, that's when he releases 5 black balloons, signaling that he has killed 5 children, right? No, sorry, 4 black balloons, which insinuated that he killed 4 children, and I guess Finn is going to be number 5. Um, yeah. So as far as, like I said, as far as personality wise, I'm gonna kind of level back and go with the personality. Um, Personality wise, in the movie, the grabber's personality varies. Okay, he could go from eccentric, angry. He kind of goes up and down. Personality wise, right? But he's very kind of what's the word I'm looking for? He could be very calming in a way. Like he's the way that he talks to Finn and he tries to ensure him that he's not going to hurt him. He could be very convincing, right? Very, very convincing. Um, but obviously Finn doesn't buy it because he's getting the phone calls or whatever, and Finn knows that there's been murders that took place, so he knows that this whatever this dude is telling him is just a lie. But his personality in the movie came off as a little bit more, especially with a smiley face, more authentic and possible. Like I can see somebody actually believing what he said. I can see that happening. He was a little bit more convincing in the book. He obviously comes off as very in the movie, he's a little bit more meticulous too. Obviously, him setting up traps, leaving the door unlocked so Finn could go upstairs so he can attack him, or he can play the naughty boy game, which is another example of how he's possibly a child molester because the naughty boy title. And then on top of that, in both the book and the movie, he also states, um, "I wouldn't do anything that you wouldn't like," right? And that signals up a red flag. But going back, the grabber's a little bit more meticulous in the movie. He does things in order to, he's playing games with Finn, right? In the book, even though he mentions the game, he never really plays the game with Finn because he's a little bit more occupied with his brother upstairs. So in the book, the reason the grabber kills kids quick in the book, like he kills them quick, like as soon as he gets them down there, right before they even like are able to like recuperate and get their mind senses right, he kills them. That's clearly stated in the book. Now in the movie, it feels like the reason why he doesn't kill Finn is not only because there's somebody upstairs, but it's because Finn is not decided. He doesn't give a shit that nobody's upstairs because he was sitting upstairs waiting for Finn to come up the staircase because he tested him several times throughout this movie. Like throughout the movie, he tested him several different times. So he doesn't care if his brother's upstairs. That's beside the point. He doesn't give a shit. Um, but this shows that again, the grabber's a little bit more meticulous. In the book, he's a little bit more emotional. He kills them way before they even get their mind right. And it's stated by one of the ghosts. He says, "Well, you've lasted a little bit longer because uh you were actually able to recuperate, and he's not able to kill you because his brother's upstairs and he doesn't want to alarm him, right?" Um, Moving on, another aspect, one of the final aspects we're going to talk about is that the grabber's character in both the book and the movie, he's able to hear the phone. So this tells us that he has some sort of supernatural capabilities, and he has some sort of connection to the spiritual world by some means of I don't know what, right? Because all of these characters, Finn, Gwen, I believe that's the sister's name, and the grabber all have some sort of spiritual connection. They're able to, I don't know. They have some sort of like psychic or weird abilities like that. They're able to talk to the dead or something like that. I don't know. They all have some weird connection to the other world, the other side. Um, but overall, again, like I said, the characters, although look very different, and in the ways they act very different, they're still very menacing characters. Um, like I said, the grabber's design reminds me of like Alfonso from if you guys seen Alice Sweet Alice. The design, that's the design that I'm picturing in my head as I when I was listening to the book. I didn't read the book. I listened to an audio book. But that's my character breakdown of the grabber. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this segment. Let me know if you guys want me to do more. If you want to break down more characters, let me know who you're interested in me breaking down. But you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. I hope you guys are having a magnificent day. Adios, homies.